YouTube world, my name is Kelsey J. Welcome back to my series Amateur Recreates Celebrity Makeup. Today on my series we are going to be recreating this photo of Gigi Hadid. This was for the Spring 2016 Maybelline New York campaign. I'm super excited to recreate this look. It's super dramatic. I love the double wing liner. So if you're interested in watching me go from this to this, please keep on watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and we'll get into the video. Okay, so as you can see, I kind of like did my hair like hers in this photo. It's very like kind of flowy, gorgeous. I love the contrast of the intense eye with like the black t-shirt and the super flowy, wavy hair. I've already done my skincare routine. I did a little eye mask today because I didn't get enough sleep last night, per usual. So I'm gonna go in with my NYX Marshmallow Primer. I've actually really been loving this primer lately. Like I said in my last video, I'll link it up here. It doesn't really form a layer on your skin. It kind of seeps in almost like a moisturizer, and I like the smell of it. It smells sweet like marshmallows, you know, so you get what you expect. Just going over my face with that primer. I'm going to do the eyes first today because this is a very dramatic look and I don't want to have all that fallout, you know, on my under eyes. We're gonna start with her eyebrows. Her eyebrows are very, like, she has a very high arch. I like how in the beginning of the brow it's really structured and then it gets like kind of more whimsical, I guess you could say. To recreate this look, I'm going to use my NYX brow glue. I tried this out last night. I was a little hesitant. It does work. It works really nicely. It helps give your brows that kind of laminated look. If you don't know what laminated brows are, it's where they're very like tamed upwards. So I'm gonna use this to kind of get that effect. If you want to see, look at how you can squeeze this little tube and it's really thick, like kind of grossly thick. But like I said, I tried it out yesterday and it worked really well. My only complaint is once it dries, it can tend to like flake. So it almost looks like you have brow dandruff, but I'm just going to comb these upwards to get that nice high arch brow. The goal is to not glue any of my hair from my head to my eyebrows. So as you can see, my brow hairs are super long, especially on this side, but now we have that kind of spiky brow that she has. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone so I can get some closer looks. I mean, she doesn't have a super spiky brow, but she just has that insane arch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen and I'm going to go through and kind of draw some more hairs, mainly on that under part of the brow and elongate that tail. Okay, so I'm just keeping the front of that brow really structured, and then I went through and kind of did a few stray hairs throughout the tail of the brow. So for eyes, I'm going to start with my Ulta Beauty eyeshadow primer, and I'm just squeezing a little bit onto my finger, and then I'll use my sponge to kind of blend that out. Making sure to get really into those crevices. I'm gonna apply a little bit more because I feel like my sponge might have absorbed some of that primer. Okay, cool. Now, her eyeshadow look here is very like a soft cut crease, but then she has that dark black wing liner on the top, and then the blue liner on the bottom comes up to a wing as well. And then I think she also has some white on her waterline that continues in the middle of those two liners. So, this is going to be an adventure. Are you ready? I'm a little scared, but we can do it. I believe in myself. You believe in me, right? Fingers crossed. Okay, let's go. Starting with, we're gonna set that eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to set it with a nice cool toned, probably this like cool toned little purpley color, because I feel like a lot of her shadow look here is cool toned. So I'm gonna set this kind of just going all over the lid with that purple or lavender. It's like a cool toned lavender, and ooh, it's a little bit shiny. That was not what I was going for, but we can make it work. We'll just go up to the brow bone and give it like a little highlight. Yeah, this is like kind of a shimmer, but that's okay. We'll be fine. We are going to look at our reference photo. Now, in her crease, it's a little bit more gray, and it looks like it is really deep in the crease of her eyelid, and then it kind of blows out towards the inner corner. So it doesn't look like it's a super cut crease, but we're gonna build up to that. So I'm gonna use this cool tone purple here, and we're gonna start defining that crease. Opening my eyes and finding where the crease is. Let's look at what does the outer corner look like? So it looks like her outer corner, it's very like rainbow shaped. And then that black wing like comes up and out. So we're gonna stick with kind of rounding that eye shape. Okay, see what we did there? We're just kind of rounding it out, creating more depth in that crease. Cute, that's working. Okay, next, let's look. I have to keep my reference photo handy, guys. We're gonna go in with this little black here, and we're gonna start deepening that crease a little bit more. I'm gonna start at the top of my lid and then kind of work my way down, just creating more of a cut crease kind of effect. gonna also kind of do little swirling motions to buff out that edge so it's not as harsh. Okay, I'm actually starting to like this. Okay, now I'm gonna take this little fluffy brush and I'm gonna start really blending that outer edge and just kind of softening it up a little bit more. First I'm gonna go back and kind of fix this outer corner just a touch. Okay. Okay, I'm just using a very light hand to kind of buff out those edges. Now, okay, I think I'm gonna do the bottom liner first, to be honest. I don't know, should I? Actually, we'll do the black liner first. This is the part that I'm worried about. I'm not very good with a liquid liner. I hope this still works. This is called Douce, D-O-U-C-C-E. It's a graphic liner pen. I've used this before on my channel, kind of like way back, like a year ago or so. And it's really black. It's got the felt tip marker, and let's just get right into it. So what I'm gonna try and do, I wanna save some room for that bottom liner. So we're gonna kind of, from the outer corner, we're gonna go more towards my eyebrow with this. So I'm gonna start, okay, gotta brace myself here. I'm just gonna start by creating a line going up like that. And this liner goes all the way to the inner corner. So I'm gonna actually start, ooh. Okay, I'm having troubles because when I hold the pen like this, like kind of horizontal to my eye, it works so much better than when I get to the outer corner. It's really difficult. It doesn't want to be as pigmented. There we go. Because you have to like lay it flat. I'm not right-handed, but I'm gonna have to do it for this one. I don't know, maybe not. I don't trust myself. Oh, we did something there. That's good. Okay, that's what we have. It's not my best, but also not my worst either. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Now for the other eye, and just getting them even. I actually like that wing better. I got it a little bit more straight. Okay, let's try and redo this one. Well, not redo, but we're gonna try and thicken this one up a little bit. How do we feel? I'm actually super proud of that. Wow. Okay. Okay. I see what I did there. Cute. Okay. Next, bottom liner. Or should we do the white? So this white liner is just gonna go on my waterline and underneath that top eyeliner. Okay. So I'm gonna go tight on that waterline. And then see that? I just kind of went underneath that black and then connected it with the white on my waterline. Cute. All right. We're going places. Not really. I'm not going anywhere today. So I'm gonna take out this little cute thing. This is from the little Ulta kit that Dylan got me. And what I'm going to use, I'm gonna use, I think, this for just my under eye, and then we'll figure out what other brush I want to use for the wing. And I'm gonna take some setting spray. I'm just gonna wet this real fast. This is just so, because I'm gonna use a shadow as a liner. This is so I get a little bit more pigment in that liner shadow. So she has it going all the way to the inner corner and then just following that top liner. So I'm gonna start on the outside. Not getting enough pigment on this, so I'm gonna switch to my Raw Beauty Kristi palette. Ooh, and that is perfect. Hurtful is going to be my shade. Ooh, and these shadows are like pressed pigments, so they're so rich in color. So I just did that bottom liner and I took it all the way to my inner corner, and now I'm going to follow it out, creating that like Cleopatra kind of cat eye effect. So the thing about hers is it is tilting up a little bit more than mine. But that's okay. We have different eye shapes. I kind of like that on me. Woo! Cute! And on this side, we're gonna continue doing the same thing. I'm gonna start on the outside. A little overzealous there. Cute! How do we feel? I love it. I'm very proud of myself. Yeah, gorge. Cool! Okay, now let's see if she has any like inner corner highlight. It looks like she does have a touch, probably like a more silvery tone. So let's use pure Raw Beauty Kristi again, and I'm gonna use Cafe Disco just on, we're gonna take this little brush right here. It's my little face painting brush. I should have probably used this for the liner, but it's like the bristles aren't super stiff, so I wouldn't have been able to get that nice, you know, pointy wing, which I really didn't get it anyways. Anywho, amateur hour. Thank you. You're welcome. So I just did a touch of Cafe Disco on that inner corner to give a little highlight, and I think we're ready to move on to complexion. I don't think she's wearing lashes in this photo either. It looks like her lashes are pretty natural. If she did wear lashes, they're probably pretty small. So I'm gonna do mascara and stuff after I do complexion. So I'm going to start with, let's take a good look at her complexion here. She does look pretty matte. She's got a nice gorgeous contour, but overall complexion seems fairly, I'm not gonna say natural, but it's probably pretty full coverage, to be honest. So we are going to start, I'm gonna start with my Makeup Revolution foundation sticks, and that will give me like a nice good full coverage. I'm starting with, I'm gonna use this stubby brush, and we're gonna start with the under eyes, being very careful around all the work we just did. So I'm just kind of using this as a concealer. We're gonna lighten and brighten those under eyes real quick. And really sharpen that wing that we did on the bottom. See, now this is the beauty of doing your eyes first, is you can go back in with concealer or foundation and really clean up that eyeliner. Just make sure to wipe off your brush because there is some pigment transferring to my brush, so I just wipe it off on my hand and then I go back into my foundation or concealer, whichever one you're gonna use. I'm using a foundation as a concealer, so keep up. Just kidding. Also being very careful around those brows, finding places that I need to bring forward. And just blending very lightly around my nose in that inner corner. Okay, next we're going to, should we blend that out with my sponge? Actually, I'm gonna go in with this new contour color that I got. It's kind of a more warm tannish, it's F9. And we're gonna take a flat brush and give myself a nice little cheek contour. Now let's look at her contour. It's starting kind of like right here, and rather than going like towards, normally when I do contour, I take, this is how I measure, from the top of my ear to the corner of my mouth. Hers, it looks like it kind of goes from the top of the ear, but then it's coming more towards her nose, more towards this nostril. So we're gonna kind of use that as a guide to our contour, kind of more like so. This is an interesting color. When I got it, I thought it was gonna be a lot darker, but now that I'm putting it on my skin, it just looks more orange. So we're obviously gonna go through and darken that with some bronzer and stuff like that once we finish complexion. But once again, going from the top of the ear to that nostril. And then I'm going to round off the forehead, and then we'll do jaw and blending that down. Now I'm gonna take my sponge and we're just gonna start kind of blending all that out, and then we'll see what kind of coverage we have from there. All right, I'm really proud of how this is turning out, honestly. Yeah, cute. So now that all that is blended out, I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my Conceal and Hydrate just to kind of fill in those blank spaces that I did not get with the concealer and contour application. Okay, looking good. Nice. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna mattify that with my translucent powder using this little brush. And we're just gonna kind of lightly tap under that under eye. Getting rid of any areas that are overly shiny. So I just took my little brush that I used for the bottom liner and I was just kind of straightening that out a little bit. Now that I'm nice and mattified, sorry, my hair is just like a crazy mess. So now we're gonna do some bronzer. We kind of want a cool toned bronzer for this, and I don't think I really have one, to be honest. I think I'm gonna use this. This is my Frida Kahlo by Ulta palette. It's like a blush bronzer palette. I'm gonna take my little angled brush, and the same thing that we did with our contour, we're gonna follow that line, just like that. Ooh! And now on the other side. Very nice. I'm gonna tap that off, and then we're gonna go through and just kind of buff, softening that contour a little bit more, or bronzer, following the shape of my face, kind of going more towards my nostril. So hers is a little bit cleaner than mine. She has more of like a line than like a blown out bronzer. Maybe I'm gonna go through and bake on this side of my, you know, this half, the bottom half of my face, just to kind of clean that line up a little bit more. So I'm gonna take my angled sponge, which I need to throw this on away. She is looking tore up. So I'm gonna pour my translucent powder on my palette and cutting that so we get more of a definition. I'm just taking a little bit of that extra powder and putting it around my nose because that is a very major problem area for me. So I kept those lines very precise and straight. My cheekbones are not the same shape. I've discussed this before. So it was a little difficult to kind of get the same placement on both sides, but I feel like I did my best and that's all we can ask for. So tap out more of these problem areas. And so we're gonna let this sit for a little bit. And for lip, her lip is super neutral. It almost looks like she doesn't really have any sort of product on her lip. So to be honest, I'm just gonna use, my mom got this for me for my birthday, and it's the Burt's Bees matte stick, and it's in 425 Buttery Blush, and it's like Burt's Bees chapstick but a lipstick. So I'm gonna use this because it's a really pretty pink, but like a more neutrally pink, and it's gonna hydrate and make my lips look nice and cute. All right, now I'm gonna take my big fluffy brush and just go through and buff out that bake right there. Okay, now it didn't do the most, but it helped a little bit to kind of clean up those edges. Now for blush, I want kind of a nice little mauve-y. I'm gonna go in with my IT Cosmetics Ombre Radiance that my mom got me for my birthday because it's a nice kind of mauve-y, but it has that shimmer mixed with it. And I'm just gonna keep that very lightly, kind of where our bronzer is. Pretty. All right, so now we're going to set, and the final step is going to be mascara. All right, so I just kind of did a light dusting on that bottom lash, not trying to really emphasize those as much as we want the top lashes. All right, guys, so that's the finished look. So what do you think? I am actually really proud of myself for this look. I was a little skeptical going into it, to be honest. I wasn't sure if my skill level was up to that caliber. I felt like, oh, well, what if I mess up on the liner? What if I mess up on the wing? And I started kind of catastrophizing some things. But once you get into it and once you really sit down and apply yourself, it's actually not as scary as you think. You kind of break it down into steps, just go step by step, trust the process, and this is what you get. Now, what I like about this look, I really like the double wing liner. I think that's so pretty. I think I'm gonna start doing it a little bit more. I really like the white in the liner, like in between them. I think that is such a gorgeous, like nice added touch. Something I don't like, I am not particularly a fan of the color scheme. Like the teal color probably wouldn't be something that I normally reach for. I actually think it looks really nice with the color of my eyes and also with the color of Gigi's eyes. I think that is a good way to kind of tie in the color of your eyes with your makeup. Would I pick that color again? I would probably end up picking Garden State because it's more of a green, whereas Hurtful is a little bit more of a blue tone, kind of teal aqua kind of color. So that's something that I don't like, and actually probably something I would change as well. Another thing that I would change, the way that I did my bronzer contour, I would probably change that as well. I would keep it more, you know, angular rather than blowing it out. I would probably keep a more like harsh line right there. But just to my eye on my face, that's not something that particularly looks good, but it could make the look a little bit more interesting. So I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts. How do you think I did? Who do you think I should do next? And yeah, I really appreciate you watching. Please give a like and subscribe, and I will catch you later. Love you. So as you can see, my making more of a little. This was for the spring 2016 Maybelline New York. This was oops. I need. Fuck. I was a little skeptical going into it, and also with the color of Gigi. How do you do?